Just a couple of words for everybody before we get going with our first course. Of course, part of the role of an MC, especially if you are the brother of the bride, is to embarrass the brother of the bride. And to tell, the sister of the bride, embarrass the bride, I'm gonna need one of these, and tell you something that you might not know about her. I have information for all of you. We learned earlier this year that this is not Elizabeth's first time down the aisle. Some of you, you're right, Colton. Sit back. Some of you may know, and I just got a look from her, so this'll be quick, don't worry about it. It'll be painful, but it'll be quick. Some of you may know that my mother was a prolific documentarian. She was a prolific filmmaker back in the day. And in our early childhood, she documented so many interactions between the two of us. Well, let me tell you something. Earlier this year, Elizabeth, Colton, I think you were there as well, so I think you should know where this is going. Myself and the kids were sitting, and we were watching one of these videos, okay? We were watching one of these videos and we turned it on, and all of a sudden we heard, it was dark, there was a child who was singing, "Here comes the bride, all dressed in white," and then you fade up, and what appears? Elizabeth in a wedding dress, and myself in a suit. And we were in the midst of a procession that was far better than what you saw today, ladies and gentlemen. It was a procession down the aisle of that house. We walked into the living room, and Elizabeth got out of line, so I made sure to get her. No, this is where you stand. This is where you stand. You don't stand there, you stand here. And then we started to do what we as 5-year-old, 3-year-old selves thought were vows, and Mom wasn't stopping this. She was videoing this. She was making a movie out of this, right? And at one point in time, Elizabeth decided she wasn't going to have any of this because, of course, she's the 3-year-old girl, and this is what's that? Of course I wasn't the one. Of course I wasn't the one. But nobody told us that. So she leaves, she goes does something else, and then I say, "I'm never gonna find the one." I'm never gonna find the one. So interestingly enough, I had a whole plan that I was gonna put this video on and I was gonna show it, and there was gonna be documentary proof of what happened. So you wouldn't have to trust me, you could actually see the video. But believe it or not, and I think I know what happened here, we got to the farm, and for those of you who don't know, my parents live on a farm, and it's in Moscow, Ontario, which is this really tiny little village. We got to the farm, and I looked for the video, and the video was nowhere to be found. I wonder what happened, Elizabeth. We'll talk about that later. The other thing that I wanted to mention, this is really a nice thing, is if you haven't had a chance to look at the wedding website, you should look at the wedding website because it is an awesome background of this very fantastic couple. It tells the story of how they met, of how they fell in love together, of their entire background together as a couple. It really is great. It's kind of spicy as well, when you think about it, right? Right? I mean, people say, the knock about Ottawa is that, Ottawa's a government city. It's a boring city. There's not a lot to do. It's, no insult to people. I love Ottawa. I used to live in Ottawa. But that's kind of the knock in Ottawa. But then you read that story and you see, he was her personal trainer? He was her personal trainer? She was buying sessions for the purpose of... What? This could just as easily have been a #MeToo situation as a wedding. But All the power to you, and you know, in all seriousness, so happy to welcome you to the family today, Colton, and look forward to many years together, laughing in the future. So before we get going, last thing, I don't know what you know, everybody's religious traditions are or are not, but perhaps we could just you know, take a moment and express some thanks for the food that we're about to eat. So everybody, if you take a moment, you know, dear Lord, please bless this food. Please bless Colton and Elizabeth. Thank you for bringing us here together with friends and family from all over Canada and all around the world. Keep us ever mindful of the needs of others. In Jesus' name, amen. All right, let's eat. We'll be back soon.
Hello, everybody. And I just want to start off by thanking each and every one of you. A bunch of faces I haven't seen in years, and it's an absolute treasure to be here and see your face yet again. But I just want to start off with what this guy has meant to me. He's been in my life for a surprising 24 years, and if I was to do this life a million times over, I'd sure as heck hope he's in that. So I've done so many firsts in the life with this guy, and I'm not going to sit here and embarrass him because I'm sure you'll get a lot of that from other people. But so, like, I knew this guy was my best friend when I have family living 2,000 kilometers away in Wisconsin, and including my grandma Shirley, who unfortunately passed just under a year ago. But my grandma Shirley was my best friend as Colton's replacement when I visited my dad every summer. And that being said, my grandma was also my mentor and general means of love, life, you name it. And one thing she always taught me, or at least when I asked her in struggles of being 18 and figuring out what this whole love thing means, is what does love mean? And she gave me 3 things that always stuck with me. First being, remember, we're not going to be pretty forever, so find somebody with a damn pretty soul, because you're going to be sticking with that soul for a heck of a long time. So that's one thing that really stuck with me. She said, also make sure somebody sticks with you who can care for you, especially when it gets to the days where you can't tie your darn shoes anymore, just to get out the door. And most of all, find somebody that makes you laugh at least once a day. And my grandpa and grandma, they were together for 60 years, and there wasn't a day that I wasn't with them where I saw that laughter. So I asked everybody to raise their glass, because that's exactly what I want for these people. Or these two, not these people. These two lovely people. But I'm just choking up here trying to hold it together. But I love these two. I'm so glad to have them in my life, and more so I'm happy to see that the man I've spent 24 years of life with is going to have the rest of his life to spend with somebody that'll bring him joy. So cheers, everybody.
Elizabeth and Colton. It is my great honor and privilege indeed, thank you, Ryan, for those key words, to be here today, to be able to speak with you briefly about some anecdotes in relation to my time with Elizabeth, and to share some wishes for the two of you, for your beautiful future together. Elizabeth and I have known each other for exactly half of our lives, exactly 18 years. When she asked me to speak today, I had to think for quite a while about what I would say, because admittedly, I could speak for a very long time about a number of hilarious experiences that we had together. So Elizabeth and I met at university, first year university, Frosh Week, first year. We lived in the same residence that first year. And then we subsequently lived together for 4 years in the same house and became family very, very quickly. After that, for the rest of our, what we call Love Fest, we lived on different continents. So we haven't lived anywhere near each other post those first 5 years. And importantly, and I'll come back to this, nothing has changed. If anything, we've even grown stronger. And to be honest, I don't know how that's possible after having lived 5 years right beside each other, often, sorry, Colton, having sleepovers, sharing each other's bed. And so I had to choose one specific little story to share with you all. And Elizabeth might be able to already guess which one it is, but I'm hoping not. It'll be a little bit of a surprise. During those first few weeks together, every Thursday night was party night in our residence. She's like, what are you going to tell them? And we used to dress up and run around our university residence. And there was music playing, and one night there was a very specific song that came on that kind of turned into our theme song. And by kind of, I mean completely turned into our theme song. And at the time, I think it was the tune that we thought was catchy, and also we were pretty fond of each other, so we felt like it was an appropriate theme song. But I'm not sure that we understood the extent to which it was really a reflection of our bond more long term. Paulina?
Oh. Yeah.
What's that song?
Oh, you mean I love you always, forever, near or far, closer together, everywhere. I will be with you everywhere. I will be with you. I love you always, forever, near or far, closer together, everywhere. I will be with you everywhere. I will be for you. I love you always, forever, near or far, closer together,
Everywhere, I will be with you, everything I will do for you. Say you'll love me forever, never stop, not for whatever, near and far and always and everywhere and every. Say you'll love me forever, never stop, not for whatever, near and far and always and everywhere and everything. Before I continue, I have to say one thing. I wasn't actually planning on singing. And also, I had a baby 6 months ago, and I sing to her all the time. And I've realized that suddenly I'm not afraid to sing in front of people. And that was like total final proof that I needed. Whew. So that's a huge honor to be able to sing for the first time in front of people at your wedding, Colton and Elizabeth. All right, so to continue with that story just a little bit, because I'm getting to my max allotted time. As you can imagine, it's not just I love you always forever. The key words in that song became near or far, closer together, because of our subsequent distance and love that grew in spite of and thanks to that distance. And I'm going to say most importantly, I also humbly hope it's equally importantly, I want to say that Colton, I am so thrilled that you are the husband of Elizabeth and that you two found each other. And these words wholeheartedly now belong to you. Congratulations and cheers, and I can't wait to see you two grow together into the future.
Thank you. What she said. First of all, thank you everybody for coming today and helping us celebrate this milestone. Elizabeth's parents did an awesome job putting it together. This venue is absolutely amazing. We really very much enjoyed it. Like the photo opportunities here are incredible. I entered Colton's life in it, I don't know, about 9, I guess, yeah. And I've had the great pleasure of watching him grow into the man he's become today. We have awesome debates on politics, and which is, one of our favorite subjects, is given the current climate. But the one day, Colton said, "I'm bringing Elizabeth over," and almost immediately we fell in love with her. She's just an awesome woman. She's so well-rounded, and I'm sure that was the doing of your parents. They taught you well, I'm sure. But it was incredible how many crisscrosses we had in each of our lives. Like, Amanda loves horses. Apparently Elizabeth loves horses. And Elizabeth scuba dives. I scuba dive, or we scuba dive. Sorry, we.
Elizabeth loves to travel. We love to travel. She has done more of her bucket list than we have, though.
Yes.
She has.
We're very envious of her.
Yes. And with the honeymoon.
And we see Colton even growing even more each day that we see them together. Mm-hmm. It's and we're just.
Well, we like to say, though, it took a village to raise Colton. I'm sorry, I'm so short, and they didn't. Oh God.
Now they can hear you.
So.
What she said.
I need to thank other people because I didn't raise Colton all by myself. I had some help with my husband and a few other friends. So I would like to thank Jason, Nikki, who have been awesome for Colton over the years. They've let him come to the cottage, they've taught him to water ski, kneeboard, and all other sorts of fun stuff that I could never do for him. And Dan and Michelle, who are second parents too, because they've taken him to Florida, they took him on a helicopter ride in Hawaii. Pretty much he's been very spoiled. So poor Elizabeth, when they got engaged, I did tell her, I'm sorry, but there are a few other people you need to meet before we can get this covered. So she spent a weekend at the cottage with Jason and Nikki, and a weekend at the cottage with Dan and Michelle, and she passed with flying colours, even though she's vegan. And trust me, being a vegan with these. But we've forgiven her for that, and actually, Elizabeth has made me a bloody good vegan chef, if I say so myself. Speciality, vegan shepherd bar. So we welcome you, Elizabeth, to our family. We love you to death. We are so happy to have you, and I'm sure the Porchinskas and the Watmans will agree with me as well. We just love you. You've got
stamp of approval.
Yes. You've got a very extended family, because Colton has 6 siblings. He's number 6. So, thank you, and we love you, and thanks everybody for being here too.
Thank you.
I'm not sure why this Kleenex is here, but anyway. Okay, we're going to talk together, so. And it may be a little bit more than 5 minutes, Elizabeth, so there's a cane that has to. Well, this is a joyful day for our family as our darling daughter marries the man of her dreams. As we gaze at the beautiful bride, we are bursting with pride and gratitude for all the blessings she has given us for all of her life, and we're filled with happiness for her and her new husband. This is also a time of reminiscing about the pretty little girl with the brilliant blue eyes who captured our hearts the moment she came into this world. If you looked up the word sweet in the dictionary, Elizabeth's picture would be there, for she is sweetness personified. She has sweetened and blessed and enriched our lives in more ways than we could possibly articulate here. There are so many stories that we could tell that would illustrate her sweet personality, thoughtful ways, and adventurous spirit, but we will confine ourselves to just a few.
Elizabeth has a love has loved animals since she was a little girl, and she acquired an impressive menagerie over the years, including a nanny goat, 2 rabbits, 2 border collies, and at least 3 cats. She loved and trained them all, and they willingly followed her all around the farm. But what she wanted more than anything was a horse. And she would emphasize her enthusiasm by galloping on her hands and knees around the house. She set up an equestrian course outside for her nanny goat and border collie, pretending that they were horses as she trained them to clear the jumps. She even hitched the goat to a wagon with her huge lop-eared rabbit inside. It was definitely a wild ride for the rabbit. Elizabeth taught her animals lots of tricks and entered both her goat, Midnight, and border collie, Rusty, in the Centerville Agricultural Fair. Midnight won the prize for Best Dressed Pet 2 years in a row. And it's no wonder. The first year, Elizabeth had Midnight all dolled up in one of Catherine's favorite dresses. Shortened, of course, and a big straw hat covered with daisies. The second year, the goat was a hula dancer, complete with grass skirt and colorful leis around her neck and horns. Meanwhile, Rusty the border collie won the prize for best trick, amazing the crowd by jumping through a hoop and catching a frisbee on the other side. We eventually gave in and signed Elizabeth up for horseback riding lessons, and her love of horses grew and flourished. A few years later, with the help and encouragement of our wonderful neighbors, Shelley and John, she finally got her own horse and called him Freedom. Elizabeth was 13 years old when the magnificent Freedom joined our family. She and I worked together to build stalls and corrals for him, and she herself built a hunter jumping course across the road at Shelley's and John's. Neither Catherine nor I are horse people, so we marveled at Elizabeth's skill and confidence as she galloped Freedom through our farm fields. She worked hard caring for all her animals, getting up at the crack of dawn on school days to feed and water, and rushing home after school to spend quality time with them. She never once complained about the chores, and gladly mucked out stalls and hauled heavy buckets of water. Finally, when she went off to university, she entrusted me, and only me, with her animals, and she gave me strict and detailed instructions about their care.
Well, she did let me take care of a goldfish, Snowflake, and I must have done a pretty good job because he lived to be 21 years old. Pretty good. It was Elizabeth's love of horses that began her years of adventurous travel. After her second year of university, she headed off to the Namaya Valley in the mountainous interior of British Columbia to work as a wrangler and trail rider at a guest ranch for the summer. The owners liked her so much that they invited her back for 2 more summers. She encouraged me to travel to the ranch during all 3 of those summers, and Larry even joined me for one of those adventurous trips. We faced our fears and braved the long journey, flying in a scarily small plane from Vancouver to Williams Lake, where Elizabeth picked us up and drove us to the ranch in a 3-ton truck, loaded to the gills with supplies for the ranch. We held on for dear life as the big truck negotiated very steep, narrow, winding dirt roads through the breathtaking wilderness. Actually, the most breathtaking part of the journey for us was crossing the mighty Fraser River at the aptly named Hell's Gate. With no guardrails on the steep approaches, we tried hard not to look down at the raging river and prayed fervently that we would not topple over the edge. Thank God we made it safely to the ranch, and we are so glad that we did. What a wonderful time we had sharing Elizabeth's Western adventure. Before we knew it, she had us riding horses on treacherous trails and even climbing mountains. I followed Elizabeth to Ireland for another university summer, where she worked at an equestrian facility in Mullingar. She and I adventured together throughout Ireland, driving a small car on the wrong side of the road. Sorry, Mark. It's the wrong side of the road. Mastering roundabouts and navigating very narrow roadways, although I can still hear her frightened cries of, "Mom, get over, you're gonna hit that wall, or hedge, or tree." Thankfully, the car survived, and so did we. I also have very fond memories of less distant journeys to cheer Elizabeth on at show jumping competitions and marathon runs, including our trip to Florida, where she completed the Disney World Marathon, because it is the happiest race on earth. The last place that Larry and I followed Elizabeth was to Calgary, Alberta. China was just a bit too far for us. But we did almost make it to New Zealand. It has been a good geography lesson for us to map Elizabeth's travels throughout the world. While it did make us better Jeopardy players, it was definitely nerve-wracking. We are grateful that wherever she traveled in all 44 countries that she visited, she made sure to be in touch with us every few days, sharing her adventures, calming our nerves, and showing us constantly that she cares about us. When Larry had a major heart attack 7 years ago, Elizabeth was teaching in China, but she called or Skyped every single day for 6 weeks and sent him books on healthy living, which helped to speed his recovery. She traveled all the way from New Zealand for Larry's 65th birthday and made that long trip home again for my retirement.
The only good thing about the COVID years was that they brought Elizabeth home to Canada via Madagascar, where she was visiting, and China, where she was teaching. We were so happy when she decided to pursue her master's degree in Ottawa, just 2 short hours from the farm. Although the restrictions of COVID still kept us from visiting, she was in touch with us every day. We were delighted when Brody came into her COVID-isolated life, and even happier when she was able to return to the gym, and we started to hear about a certain personal trainer there. We knew things were getting serious between us when she brought him to Perth, midway between Ottawa and the farm, for a Father's Day brunch. Catherine and I both liked Colton as soon as we met him. It would have been hard not to. He's very personable and an excellent conversationalist. And there were no awkward moments throughout our 2-hour lunch together. As their relationship developed, Elizabeth brought Colton home to the farm, where we were really glad to get to know him and saw how thoughtful and caring he was, and that their love for each other was strong and true.
And here we are at Beantown, celebrating the happiest day of our daughter's life as she begins a wonderful new chapter in her story. United now in marriage with the love of her life. We are so grateful to have our closest friends and family here with us to share our wedding joy. We know that most of you have come a long distance to get here, especially our dear friends Joe and Tony, who have traveled all the way from Australia. Please know that we love you all and that you have our deep and heartfelt thanks.
Colton, we welcome you with open arms into our family and entrust you with the treasure of our darling Elizabeth. We are so very proud of both of you and thank God for the forever love that you have found in each other. May you be blessed with a lifetime of happiness together, and may your days be filled with love, laughter, and endless adventure.
Well, those are some tough acts to follow, so we'll see how this goes. As we look around this room filled with our favorite people, we are overwhelmed with immense gratitude and joy. Today would not be the same without each of you here, sharing in our happiness and celebrating with us as we embark on this new chapter as Mr. and Mrs. Simmons. We cannot thank you enough for being such an important part of our lives and making this day truly unforgettable. First and foremost, I must thank you, Colton. Wedding planning together with you has been an adventure that I will cherish forever. I count my blessings every day to have you in my life, and it is honestly a dream to actually be your wife.
And of course, I'm deeply grateful to my beautiful bride, who, for making this day so special. Her dedication and hard work is what brought this dream wedding to life. It is an honor to finally be your husband and to call you my wife.
To my absolutely stunning bridesmaids, Jessie, Jessica, Rachel, and Paulina. You have traveled from Switzerland, China, England, and Hong Kong to be here for me today, and I could not possibly ever thank you enough. Seriously, how lucky am I to call you my best friends? You have each played such a huge role in shaping who I've become today, and with each of you, I have so many incredibly fond memories. Thank you for being the most beautiful souls I have ever met. Jessie, Dr. Gale, beautiful mom to Maggie, and me. My matron of honor. We were inseparable from the moment we met at Trent University almost 18 years ago. 1 second. We have grown so strong and have been through so much together. It means absolutely everything to have you stand beside me today. You are my rock, and I cherish our friendship more than you could ever know. Jessica, my stunning South African, forever fit bestie. China and teaching early education at Basis Shenzhen brought us together, but our mutual love of all things fitness definitely sealed the deal. We have had the absolute best times together, and I'm so grateful for all of our irreplaceable memories with both you and Rian. Having you here this week has reminded me of everything that I value in our friendship, and I know we will have many more good times and fit times ahead of us. Rachel, we met in New Zealand as horse trekking guides on Pockery Beach, and I'm beyond blessed for this beautiful friendship. Rachel Beth. And for all the epic adventures we've been on, hiking, skydiving, living out of my car for a month, night rides, hooning down the beach, endless would you rather games. The list goes on and on. You're an absolute ray of sunshine, undoubtedly the sweetest and most loving human I know. And finally, Paulina. Although you two are Canadian, it was China back in 2014 that brought us together and allowed a beautiful friendship to blossom. You were always down for a good time, booking a random plane ticket or party boat adventure, and you are undoubtedly the best travel companion. We have had so many fun times together, and by far my fondest memories were made with you as we adventured around Sri Lanka. It means so much to have you here today, and I'm already counting down the days until our next rendezvous. Sorry, our pages got very messed up.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for being here today. It means the world to us, and it's hard to look around the room and take it all in. It's truly amazing to have you all here today. I want to start this off to give a thanks to my incredible groomsmen, Zach, Shane, Evan, and Liam. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy lives to be here and to celebrate this special day with Elizabeth and I. I'm truly grateful to have you all standing by my side. I couldn't ask for a better group of guys to support me on this unforgettable day. Zach, where do I start? We've shared some memories, more than I could ever imagine counting. I still remember the first day we became best friends. I had just moved to a new neighborhood and was exploring the playground nearby. It was a snowy day, and all of a sudden, there you were, making your way over to the playground to come and introduce yourself. We were only about 5 years old, and I was very shy. However, you were not. You told me your name, I told you mine, and then you asked to be best friends. And here we are, just like that. Shane, we have shared many crazy memories together. I think the ones I cherish most are us just hanging out, talking about everything in life for hours and hours on end. From late night gym sessions at midnight to debates and conversations that seem to never end. You always were supportive of my passion for fitness and health and watched me go from high school to college, chasing that very passion. And I thank you for that. And thank you. Evan, getting to watch you grow from a baby boy into the amazing young man you are today has been a real pleasure. You sure know how to play hard, but you also know how to work hard, and that is something I truly admire. I also have to thank you for allowing me and my beautiful wife here to see our lives flash before our eyes while you drove Elizabeth and I 70 miles per hour on a speedboat, skipping across Chandos Lake. You'll always be a brother to me, and I'm so appreciative to have you here on this amazing day. Liam, seems like it was just yesterday. You were just this little brother that was barely half my height. Now look at you. I think you might be, just maybe, a little taller than me. Since you came into this world, I always wanted to make sure that I was a big brother that you could look up to and be proud of. I hope I was able to achieve that. I know that I'm very proud of the young man you are today and can't wait to see who you become.
Thank you to our nieces and nephews, Kensley, Cecily, Spencer, and Sullivan, for playing such an important role in our wedding today as our flower girls and ring bearers. You looked incredibly beautiful, adorable, and dashingly handsome, and we are so thankful that you came all the way here from Hamilton in California to be here with us.
And of course, I have to give a thanks to my lovely mother and my stepdad, John. Thank you for being supportive in everything I do. You have seen me go through many ups and downs in life, and I can't thank you enough for everything that you have done for me. You gave me the chance to do so many things, such as traveling to many different countries and helping me move to Ottawa to start my journey as someone pursuing fitness and health. I certainly wouldn't be where I am today if it wasn't for your support. To my dad, Thank you for always making an effort to spend time together. Getting to go to your place in the country was always fun. Building forts in the woods, riding dirt bikes around the property, or sledding in the backyard, there was always something to do. But some of my favorite memories are just hanging out with you, listening to music, and cooking steak over the charcoal barbecue. And to my amazing big sister, Haley. Growing up, you were always looking out for me. I still remember the times you would dress me up in girls' clothes. Instead of being traumatizing, those moments were filled with laughter and fun, although it was more laughter and fun for you, of course. More importantly, you taught me how to be tough and stand up for myself. Whether dealing with school bullies or life's challenges, you always had my back. Your love and support have been invaluable, and thank you for being such a great big sister. And of course, I have to give a shout out to my second parents and then my third parents. Jason and Nikki Polchinski. You treated me just like I was one of your own, and I can't thank you enough. You were always role models for me and still are to this day. You have also done an incredible job raising 3 amazing children, Emma, Laura, and Evan. I'm so lucky to consider them as my brothers and sisters. We have shared amazing memories together, whether it was waking up early on Christmas Day or watching each other learn to water ski on Chandos Lake. These are all memories I cherish dearly and hold close to my heart. Thank you. And Dan and Michelle, my third parents. Thank you so much for being here today. You've always been extremely generous to me, and I can't thank you enough. You watched me grow from a little baby into the man I am today, and you've always shown love every step of the way. To my Uncle Mark, thank you for traveling all this way from England to be here. Today, although my cousins Sophie, Tom, and Harry couldn't be here, you're doing a fantastic job representing them. I appreciate you doing the reading for our ceremony, and I'll be sure to buy you a drink later tonight, while the bar is still open.
To my brother Ryan, thank you for traveling here from California with your wonderful family and for allowing them to play such an integral role in our special day. Also, thank you times a million for being our incredible MC this evening. When we first began planning our wedding last summer, you were the obvious choice. Perhaps because I witnessed you be the MC and lead role for countless home videos growing up. I am so appreciative that you both agreed to do this, and you have certainly gone above and beyond what I could have imagined, literally. Thank you too to my Uncle John for doing a wonderful job reading at our ceremony, and to all of my Keech aunts and uncle for throwing such a beautiful wedding shower for us back in early June. You made us feel so special, and we love you all so dearly.
And of course, we have to give a special shout out to the Powerhouse team, especially Sylvia, my boss. Who would have thought that we would all be here today, thanks to you, telling Elizabeth that you think Colton would be a perfect match as a personal trainer. I'm also grateful to have many of my clients here who I now consider dear friends. Arlie, Jeff, James, Patrick, and Sylvia's husband, Jeremy, of course. It means so much to have you here to celebrate this special day with Elizabeth and I.
Going back to the Sylvia part, he meant that literally. I will never forget when Sylvia offered members the opportunity to try a personal training sampler session back in 2021. She pulled me aside and encouraged me to sign up. While I did choose to sign up for one of the available slots, I was still unsure of what trainer to choose. After a conversation with Sylvia, she said, "I think you and Colton are more compatible. He will bring you to the next level."
I did my job.
Boy, she sure wasn't kidding. In all seriousness, ever since I joined Sylvia's gym in early 2021, it has been everything I could dream of in a gym community and more. Thank you all of you for your motivation and friendship. And Justin. Before I pass this microphone back to Colton, I want to mention a specific member, actually one of the clients that Colton has trained the longest, Arlie. As some of you know, particularly Marta, my dear teaching partner who is here this evening, about a month ago, I did not look as glowy as I do today. I was covered in an ever-evolving rash that my doctor couldn't diagnose. It wasn't shingles, it wasn't impetigo, stress, or anything else they could identify. My doctor didn't know what to do and couldn't locate an urgent dermatologist for me. And by this point, the rash was moving to my face, and as you can imagine, this is a bride's worst nightmare. Colton, the loving and supportive partner he is, messaged Arlie, a hematologist who immediately came to the rescue. By the next morning, I had a new prescription for suspected poison ivy from our dog, Brody. And within days, my rash was disappearing and settling down. Arlie, thank you for quite literally saving the day. While he is no longer here at the wedding, we do owe our beloved dog Brody a huge thank you. I may be biased, but was he not the cutest little ring bearer in the whole wide world? Brody also played a huge role in bringing Colton and I together. He was kind of our little Cupid and icebreaker, and a puppy play date was an easy excuse to bring us together outside of the gym. Thank you, Brody, seriously, for being the best dog in the whole entire world.
And we have to give a special thank you to our amazing vendors for making our wedding visions become reality. To the Beantown crew, Bethany, Luke, and your Greyloft team, our photographers, Deanne and Brandon, Deluxe Duo, our DJ, the modern photo booth.
And sure to check it out later.
Yes, definitely use the photo booth. And to all those who are not here with us at the reception. Your hard work, creativity, and dedication made this day truly unforgettable for us and our guests. We're so very grateful for your expertise and the passion you put into making our wedding day perfect.
We could probably stand up here all night thanking everyone, but as you know, there are two people that I have not thanked yet. So finally, to my parents, Larry and Catherine, and I apologize, I'm probably gonna cry again. Thank you does not even begin to cut it. This amazing day could not have been possible without your support and especially generosity. We are both immensely grateful for everything you did to make this dream come true. Even more noteworthy is the unwavering love and support you provided me with my entire life. You were always there for me, cheering me on and guiding me through the ebbs and flows of life. Although you didn't necessarily always agree with some of the adventurous paths I journeyed on, or mountains I decided to climb and get medevaced off of, or perhaps some of the countless plane tickets I purchased and informed you of after the fact, you always did your best to make me feel supported, and you always made sure I knew that home was there for me to come back to. Thank you, too, for enthusiastically cheering me on as I made both the easiest and best decision yet, to marry Colton. Without hesitancy, you've welcomed him into our family, and I am so grateful and blessed to have you both here with us as we enter into married life. As Colton can attest, I've always dreamed of having my dad walk me down the aisle. So to say that today was everything I dreamed of and more would be an absolute understatement. Thank you, Dad, for leading me on my favorite walk we have ever taken together. Although my dad does deserve it, I think it goes without saying that dads often shine in the spotlight on their little girl's wedding day. However, My mom deserves to be in the spotlight too. Mom, you have been there for me through thick and thin. You dropped everything for me when I needed you, whether it was advice, someone to talk to, or some second to none editing suggestions on a paper before submission. Not only did you support me through all of my worldly travels, but you often would book a ticket and join me. And you didn't even hesitate too much when I threw you up on a horse and brought you on the treacherous trail. And so, I'm sorry to disappoint some of you, but I will not be throwing my bouquet today. Mom, my bouquet is my gift to you. I have already arranged for it to be preserved into a pressed frame, and I hope that it may always hang as a reminder of the blessing that it is to be your daughter.
Once again, thank you everyone for being here. And thank you for listening to our lovely speech. Can't wait to celebrate the rest of the night with all of you. And again, words can't describe how much we appreciate you being here. Thank you.